My name is James Fitzgerald. I'm a guide dog owner. I'm married to Helen Fitzgerald. We met in college in Tralee. She brought me over here to Alfred. Candy is my second guide dog. I had a guide dog before her called Yesa, and I had him for 6 years. When we left met in the college, um, yeah, we started going downtown for coffees and things like that, and then and as I say, we got married here in 2000
One.
2001 and in November, and people said to us, Jesus, how do we get around? We're both vision impaired. How are we going to cope in our own environment and um, in our own house? How are we going to do our cooking and stuff like that? And we said we have to deal with it. We, we learn how to do. We learn how to cook from a blind aspect. Listen for things. Listen and feel around for things. Um, but being involved with guide dogs then is like it keeps us busy, keeps us and gets us out of the house and stuff like that. When I was growing up, I was considered short-sighted, and when I was heading from 36 years of age, my sight started deteriorating, and I was in college. I had done a 6-month course in college. I was doing IT in Tralee. I was doing business studies, and I found that I couldn't cope with it because my sight was started affecting me, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And for a while, I went into a depression. Then and I gave up the college, and that following January, I joined up with a course with Braille IT. I registered blind, and that's where I met Helen.
I got meningitis when I was 13 months, but um, some people say that it was the MMR vaccine that how I lost my sight. And my grandmother said that I was born blind, so it's a kind of just guess which one it was. But I like all the other kids, we grew up actually in front of the cathedral below here in Atford, and it's things were different back then. Your roads, there was no traffic or nothing on the roads back then, but I was just because I was visually impaired, I wasn't treated no different from the rest of the family. You got given out to, you got chastised like everyone else. And when I went to school, when I was 7 in Dublin. Well, I went to school here in Atford first, but I couldn't see the blackboard or nothing. So I went to Dublin when I was 7 to St Mary's for the blind in Dublin. I was there until I was 17, and I left and came home, and I went to a rehab centre in Tralee for a few years.
Well, I was originally treated for myopia, which is short-sightedness, and then about into my 20s, late 20s, I was coming out of the eye test clinic, and I tripped over a stool, and the doctor called me back in, and he said that something more serious wrong here, and he done more tests, and they found out that I had a condition called choroideremia, which is a branch of RP, which men only get, and women are carriers. And that eventually that the condition would be that I would, as I'm approaching my 40s or 50s, that my sight would not completely go, but to be like looking through thick fog. So eventually, I got to try to cope with that, and it was a shock to me at first, trying to cope with things like that. And then, as my sight deteriorated, I found I was bumping into things and people. I walk into a pub or whatever and trip over a stool or maybe knock over a drink. The bar people think I was drunk already coming into the pub. I used to be afraid of walking down the street because I'd be stumbling over curbs. I couldn't see the curbs. I'd walk into poles, as I said, or things like that. I'd have a pile of mishaps. My sister, she was living in Cork, and I used to go up to her sometimes, and I used to hate walking down Cork City. I was totally lost when I learned the long cane training. I thought it was the most brilliant thing since sliced bread. I was able to walk the streets of Cork City without bumping into one pole or tripping over a curb. I was flying. I was a new man. But then I found that my sight started deteriorating even further. It was suggested that I might need a guide dog. When I said I'd hold off for a while to see how I get along. Next thing I said, no, this isn't helping. So I put my name in forward for a guide dog. They matched me up with a dog called Yeazer. He was my first guide dog. And that was total independence back again. I felt I could walk any street in any part of this world and I wouldn't be bumping into things. The dog would show me how to get around things, how to get to pedestrian crossings, how to manage things like that. I was always independent at first, but I said, now I have a responsibility. I was responsible for a dog, so I had to become more responsible. I found her great, and the dog was a great companion to me as well when I'd be out walking. Talk to the dog and play with the dog, and he became a real companion for me. And then when he retired, I had to give him up, and I got Candy then as my second dog, and I have her 7 years now. She'll be retiring now in the next year or two. So, and she's great. Totally different from my first dog, totally different character. She's way more wiry. You have to get used to what she's doing. She wants to do her own thing at first, meet and greet people, meet and greet other doggies when we're in a setting that she does it. But if she's working on the street, they head it down, concentration. She's great. She no distractions whatsoever walking when she's working.
When we go away places, we look for places where you can walk. Like we used to go to Macroom, the fine park there, Macroom, lovely. It's a long, long park. And one day we walked from the hotel through the park. You actually come out.
Balmacera.
Yeah. And walk back all the way back into Macroom again. But you can't do it now because it's too busy. But no footpaths. But we like to go where you can walk, whether it's like a park or a wooded area, whatever. That's what we kind of look for, or near rivers, or near the beach or something. People said, like, how can you do it? How can you're both blind? Like, just because you're visually impaired or blind, I said, who's to say you can't do it? Yes, there is people out there that can't. Will say, manage. But it's the fact of life. You try anything once, and it's a case of, well, I'll try this, I'll try that.